So Molly Maid is the UK's #1 franchise in the home cleaning industry, and we've been operating in the UK for the last 40 years now. We are the highest ranked domestic cleaning franchise within the most prestigious elite franchise top 100. And for the last 5 years consecutively, we have been in the top 15, with our best achievement actually coming last year, where we made the top 10 at number 9, which was fantastic. In 2023, we received our 5th consecutive WorkBuzz 5-star Franchisee Satisfaction Award. And that's done as an independent survey of our franchise owners about how we perform as a franchisor. Last year, we also received the Best Management Franchise Award. And we are operating in an industry which is actually booming at the moment. It's gone from nearly £2.7 billion per year to over £8.5 billion. So the actual domestic cleaning market is a great place to be considering starting a business. The Molly Maid business provides a recurring revenue model with over 95% of our sales coming from existing customers who have their home cleaned weekly, fortnightly and monthly. The business also has strong cash flow, with most cleans being paid via automated online payment system on the day or in advance of the clean. So from a cash flow point of view, it's great that you get the money in your account before you have to pay any of your bills. And that means obviously very little invoicing, which is great all round. As I mentioned already, the demand in the home cleaning industry remains really strong. And we've also seen the significant improvement in the job market with a 25% increase in job applicants, and franchisees now really looking to ensure that they can have the right balance between new customers and generating more of those inquiries, and also making sure they have a team in place to facilitate that. So moving on, I would like to now introduce our franchise owner, Simone Beresford-Ince. Simone started her business back in May 2001, covering Knutsford and surrounding areas. She was the first Molly Maid franchisee to hit £500,000 in annual net sales, and in 2014 became the highest ranked Molly Maid franchisee in the UK, and still holds that position today. She has a workforce of over 40 and annual net sales of over 850,000, and is a big advocate of both investing in her teams, both financially and personally. So thank you so much, Simone, for joining us.
You're very welcome.
So yeah, I think we just get cracking straight away with the questions, if that's okay with you. So obviously, before we chat about all the fantastic achievements that we've just referenced there, I just wanted to take you back a bit, and just maybe you could talk a little bit about some of the similarities or differences that you've experienced in Molly Maid over the last 20 years that you've been in operation.
Well, it's changed a lot since I started. I mean, we're talking, as you say, 20 years ago, 23 years ago. And I had to do everything myself completely. There was no management system. I did everything. I had to write it all down in a pencil and rub it all out. I used to do absolutely everything. I'd go out, do the estimates, come in, do the payroll, follow up the calls, everything like that. Whereas now we've got the management system in place. We've got Genie, we've got a system for inquiries. So we've got so much more to assist us in running the business. So it's completely different, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the great things about the system now, and technology in itself. It's allowed us to really kind of automate a lot of the processes and that we run. I guess the kind of pricing as well was very different to when you started.
Well, yes. I mean, we've had to put our prices up. There's so many different legal restrictions. So, we have to comply with all of that. Our staff are paid well. So we have to make sure that our prices cover all of that. But, each year we put our prices up and you think, oh no, the customers won't go for it, but they do, because we're offering a really good service, and they know that. And so they accept that, which is great. And that means as well, we've got good pricing, which means we get good staff. We're able to keep the staff, and, they're well looked after. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that, definitely has changed over the years. I mean, I think there's lots of things that are still similar, and I think you would probably say that in terms of the way in which the service is provided. We've always operated with teams of 2 maids who go out and complete a number of cleans each day. You know, so the actual kind of the core part of the service has remained the same. But I guess, as you're saying, a lots of the kind of the way in which the business is operating now is a lot more efficient and effective, which is
Absolutely.
a big bonus for the franchise owner.
Yeah, and the support that we've had from Molly Maid, from the support office, that's changed as well. You know, I've talked about the systems that we have to use, but we also have more meetings together with other franchise owners, which is great. It's great to feel part of, you know, part of a network, really. And I think we all have the same goal. We all care about our business. We care about our customers and what they think about our business, and we care about our staff as well, and how we're looking after them. When I hear what other cleaning companies do or don't do for their staff, it's quite shocking, really. But you know, we do look after ours. So, you know, there's so many different things that I think we can be proud of, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, you touched on the fact that, you know, we are a much bigger part of an organization, which I think is something that's really important. And sometimes people don't get to see that. Obviously, being part of a national brand, although you run the business locally, you do have the support not only of Molly Maid as a support office, but also the other franchise owners and colleagues that you work with. So is that something you really benefit from with the meetings that you attend then?
I think so, because I think we are running our own businesses. We're not just managing them. We are the business owners. And it can be lonely, I think. But if you've got a network that you're part of, and people that you can call on, I think that really helps. I've actually made some very good friends within the Molly Maid organisation, and I've always attended the meetings. We get more now. We get 2 a year, plus a what we call an R&R weekend at the beginning of the year. So you meet up with everyone, and it boosts you. It helps motivate you. Gives you ideas as to, you know, how you can improve your own business. So yeah, I think we really benefit from that, and I really enjoy being part of that.
Right, thank you. I know you were actually visiting some of those down for lunch in London last week. So yeah, I guess one of the bits that you'd probably say you've enjoyed most about Molly Maid is not only the fact you've been able to, you know, develop and grow a fantastic business, but it's also the friends that you've made along the way.
Yes, and like-minded people. You know, we've got a lot in common, and you know, that's been really nice.
No, that's brilliant. So you've touched on a couple of things there. I just wondered if you could maybe just elaborate a bit on the brand and how the support of the Molly Maid brands really helped you to kind of hit some of those sales that you have achieved over the years.
Well, Molly Maid is a well-known brand. It's certainly a well-known brand in this area, and I think, you know, we're a trusted brand. So people have heard of us. We're going into people's personal space. You know, it's very private, and people want a trustworthy company to come in and clean for them. So, you know, we get a lot of inquiries because of that, because we're well known. We're very visible, and we have a good reputation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, you touched on something there, and it was, I mean, I've obviously been with Molly Maid over 15 years now. And I think one of the things that surprised me most when I started was that you could turn up at someone's house, obviously having made an inquiry about a cleaning service, and you could arrive at their house in your uniform, looking the part, and within 20 minutes of meeting with them, they've given you the keys and the alarm code to their most prized possession, which always seemed, you know, quite strange to me. But yeah, as you said, it is because of the brand that they trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that does help us enormously. But obviously, you know, we've got to make sure within our own businesses that we maintain the reputation, and you know, that's always been very important to me, in terms of the service that we're providing to our customers. We don't take it lightly, and for the size of our business, we actually get very few complaints. The number of cleans that we do, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was looking at some of your numbers earlier, but I mean, you know, you've got extremely low cancellation rate of about 2.6%, which means that, for every 100 cleans you do, you know, you've got about 2.5 that cancel. So, you know, that is fantastic considering the volumes you're doing. So, you know, big well done for that.
We do a lot on customer care. So, you know, quality checks, talking to customers. We do all of that. So
which I guess when someone's paying a premium price, that's something that they would, that we can offer, which really differentiates ourselves from the competition out there.
yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the questions I get asked quite a bit at the moment is that, obviously given some of the challenges that there's been economically in the country, has that impacted customer inquiries? How have you found that in terms of being able to generate customers, and typically what are the kind of main ways in which those people are inquiring to you for a service?
Well, it's interesting really, because since COVID hit, inquiries have really increased. Our business has increased considerably, and as we talked about, our prices have gone up as well. People seem to want to come to a customer, to a company rather than a private individual. A lot of the individuals, Eastern Europeans, different Europeans,
Yeah.
went home during COVID, and then of course there was Brexit as well. So that seems to have changed the market. So in terms of inquiries, we get inquiries all the time.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there are peaks and troughs, of course. There are certain times of the year that are always busy, but are sometimes quiet, and then you've got others that are always busy. But there are different ways to manage that as well. But yeah, we're always getting the inquiries through, regularly out estimating.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I would echo some of the things you just picked up on there. I mean, since kind of, with Brexit, with a lot of Europeans returning back to parts of Europe, following Brexit, and then also the impact COVID had on, I think a lot of people anticipated that as a business, we would be one that would suffer. We really haven't seen that. We've had kind of record sales growth year after year, since COVID. Last year, we were, as a national company, our sales were up over 8%. I know, you've had some similar growth within your own business. So we've had other businesses that have also grown significantly, doubling, even tripling sales during that period. So in terms of the inquiries, where would you say most of those are coming from?
Well, we have different ways of marketing. We market all the time, pretty consistently, I'd say. We use paid search. We have flyers, and those are the main areas. So we've got those going out all the time, and then we advertise in local magazines, but it's mainly through Google, through the paid search. And I've always been a fan of flyers. I did actually have a rest from them last year. We still grew, but not at the same level. But I've reintroduced them again, and we've taken off again. So we do like to do all different types of.
Of course, no, that's great.
And then we also, Maid does the e-blasts as well to unconverted customers, or people who cancel, and then they try something else and realise that actually we were really good, and then they come back again. So I like to use every method possible.
Every opportunity,
And then the cars are so visible as well.
Yeah, of course. Well, with over 13 cars, that's a key part of for your area particularly, but obviously all around the country where the cars are visible, it does make a big difference. And just to clarify some of those points, Simon, obviously when you're talking about kind of paid search, so that's online when someone's searching for a cleaner in a particular area. The good thing is that we will really support you with that. So as someone coming into the business, you don't need to have experience and expertise in that particular department. It is something that we manage centrally through our marketing manager. And they're really able to help kind of maximize the return on your investment in those areas. The same with things like flyers. We'll be able to direct you to the best areas to target, and get that best return for the money that you're investing. So just to kind of reassure those that are thinking about, well, I haven't got experience in that is something that we really do guide you through.
Yeah, and it really does help. I've had conversations with Kanika, who does the marketing, the paid search in support office, and she's always helped me looking at my postcodes and looking at the best way to use the paid search budget, and because I'm not an expert in that at all, and I've found that really useful.
No, that's brilliant. And I think, again, everything that we're talking about, it really is a partnership between us and yourself as the franchise owner, and we do everything we can to try and make sure that you can be as successful as you can, and these are all areas that we support you in.
Yeah.
Obviously, just touching upon, you know, your team that you've got in place. You've got now probably over 40 staff that you know, you're working that are working with you. So just the kind of some of the useful elements of having such a big team, because some people might think, well, actually having such a big team, you know, can cause you more headaches, which I'm sure at times it does, but
yeah, I mean, you know, it's a people business, and my background was HR, so you know that's the kind of thing I like. Although, yeah, it is frustrating at times. But the pros are it gives us so much more flexibility, excuse me, in terms of you know, if somebody's off sick, we can usually fit somebody in. And it's all about learning how to manage the teams, pick your battles. And, you know, I've taken great pleasure over the years in watching some of our staff grow and develop. And yeah, we've had tricky ones as well, but, you know, you learn to deal with them. There's always support. We have the legal helpline that we use if we need to talk through any issues. That's always good. But yeah, I do. It is frustrating, but I do enjoy that side of things
right,
as well.
that's great. And I mean,
Yeah.
you touched upon it there, but I mean, you've actually developed a couple of people that started working with you initially as kind of Maid, and they've now developed into key parts of your kind of management team
Yes.
for helping you grow the business as well.
That's right. Two of my supervisors started off as maids,
Yeah.
and I brought them both into the office, and they're great. They really understand the business. They understand what the maids are doing, which really helps. And yeah, they both do brilliantly. Actually, I'm really pleased with them. So I've got a really tight team.
Oh, that's great. And obviously that's something that we definitely encourage, you know, as the business grows is, you know, there's no way that you could have continued to do everything yourself as you did when you started. And really, I mean, I guess the kind of next question I was just going to touch on is, you know, those levels of sustained growth, how you manage to achieve them. But I guess you would probably attribute part of that to, you know, kind of developing a bigger management structure around you to allow you to expand and focus on other areas of the business.
Yes, definitely. And I started after a year. I got a supervisor, and she ran the office for me because at the time I preferred to be out and about, seeing the customers and the staff. But then gradually I've had to step back and be in the office to oversee things. So I've got my supervisors who are out and about, deal with staff, do the estimating, quality control, that sort of thing. So yeah. So we try and work to each other's strengths, really.
That's great. So I guess a combination of that management team, you know, the kind of the sustained investment in marketing, you know, those are probably the two main drivers that's really helped you to deliver that kind of growth, and also your kind of own ambition and drive to achieve that.
Yes, and I've worked hard, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think I've got the support of my staff. They see that I work hard, and so I try and set an example for them, and I think that, you know, that's a good thing as well.
Definitely. Just, well, maybe final question for me then, and maybe we can open it up to anyone that's joined us if they have a question. But if you were kind of starting a business again now, what would the advice be that you would give to yourself if you were in that position?
I know I did stress out a lot when I first started, and I had a few sleepless nights. I'd probably tell myself not to do that, because you know, we always manage to get out. We always manage to sort out the problems. It's not life or death. There's always a way to resolve things. So I'd probably say try not to stress so much and have a bit more confidence in my own ability, and also the business model and the systems we have in place.
Sure. No, that's brilliant. Really nice, Simone. I love that. So yeah, just wondered if we could open it up. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to either turn your camera on if you wish, or you can submit a question through the live chat if there is anything that you would like to ask either Simone or myself. I can see. Hi there, how you doing? All right.
Hi, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Thank you very much, Simone. That was very insightful. Just have a quick question. When you're hiring staff, do you do any kind of screening?
Well, I interview them, certainly. So we go out and see them. We get them to fill out an application form. We have a chat. And then we do take up references. So we take up 2 references on everybody we hire. And then when we take them on, it's usually on a trial period to see how they do. We closely monitor them. The maids that work for me will work closely with them. And then my supervisors go out and see them as well. So we have different processes that that we follow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you don't run any kind of DBS scheme or anything like that?
No, it's not a requirement in this industry, so it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
something we've ever done. I mean, I do try and hire people who have an employment history so that we are able to get references, but we do work very closely when they start. In fact, I've got a new, I put them with two maids, advisors been out to see her. So we do work very closely with them as well when they start.
No, that's brilliant. And I think just to reiterate that, I mean, I think one of the things that our insurance requires is a minimum of 2 reference checks. So from our perspective, to make sure that we've got staff who are insured to be in our customers' homes, that is the requirement. You know, the DBS checks are quite a costly exercise, and obviously they only show up if someone's ever been convicted of something. So, you know, if they haven't, then it's not going to show, and therefore, how meaningful is that? Therefore, you know, we feel that that's the reference checks are a more meaningful way to kind of vet them.
Very well. And you do it over email, or do you actually have a chat with the reference? I'm just asking because, well, in our case, we already have a very small outfit, so we are looking to take it to the next level.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously,
Look, I mean, so I was going to say, I
people...
mean, we can certainly talk about some more of that offline. I think
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we have like a standard email template that we would send to references. We also have a letter we can do.
Yeah.
I guess, do you call them sometimes, Simon, if you're not getting a response?
I prefer email, to be honest. I've got the form that I send out and get people to fill that out. But sometimes I might do a phone call just to get a verbal reference quickly. But of course, sometimes as well, if you do get some staff who've worked for bigger companies, all you can get from them is confirmation that they worked for them and the dates that they. I suppose if they've been somewhere for a while, then that's that's good enough.
Of course. Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. I had another question come in here about, do we pay our staff an hourly? So we always make sure we're paying our staff well above the national living wage. And that's something that we do really to try and make sure that the teams are being paid well, so we can obviously retain them. That's obviously critical. And I think Simone touched on it, having a good team that she values is really important. So yeah, so our aim is always, through our strong pricing, is to make sure that we're paying the staff really well to kind of retain them in the long term. Katrina, I might just have to come back to you. I'm not quite sure I completely understand your question.
And we pay their time.
Yeah, go on, Simone, sorry.
No, we don't just pay for the time that they're cleaning, we pay their travel time as well. So, they get paid from when they start their first job to when they finish their last, which again, a lot of cleaning companies don't do.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on as well. Thank you for clarifying that, Simone. No, that's really important. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, in terms of the initial investment, that is something that we can kind of go into more detail in. You should have had a copy of the brochure which details the kind of breakdown as to what the costs are for a new franchise. But essentially, yeah, it's kind of 21,975 plus VAT, which 12,000 is allocated to the marketing. Some of the techniques which Simone referenced would be applied to use that, and that will generally last for the first kind of 12 months. And there's a combination of those other costs in there, and we can, if you want to go into that in more detail, then I can definitely break that down. Another one that's come through about, does Molly Maid provide the chemicals. Yeah, absolutely. We've got our own range of environmentally friendly cleaning products. I think actually it was something that Simon initially located someone locally to you, which has been a massive asset for us since then.
Yes, it was a local guy. Well, it's a company, obviously. And yeah, they're excellent. We just use our environmentally friendly products, and we have one which we used a lot. Because it sanitizes everywhere, which we provide them. We provide the cars, the equipment, everything.
Yeah. Another question is obviously, yeah, our staff are employed locally by the franchise owner, so we do obviously pay holidays, pension contributions as well, and that all relates back to the strength of the pricing that allows us to do that. And obviously that's something that customers are happy to pay that higher price because they know all the benefits they're getting as part of the service. We do have someone, is it Mariama's asked about, do we have an office in Sheffield? Yes, we do. There is a franchise owner there, but there are some surrounding areas neighbouring to that which are available. Someone asked about a question about Bristol. Yes, the nearest one to Bristol is actually probably our Bath or Chippenham franchise. So there's not one in Bristol, but that obviously does mean there's an opportunity if someone was looking to start one.
I just think Bristol would be a very good area.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd agree with that. Grace has mentioned about estimating someone. Obviously, that's something you touched upon. You want to just talk a little bit about how that process works for customers?
Well, a customer will make an inquiry, and we tend not to price over the phone. We prefer to go out and visit them, so that we can talk about the service, find out exactly what it is they want us to do for them, and then we price on the visit. So it is, quite a personal, bespoke service, if you like, rather than just price over the phone. Sometimes if we're short of time, we will price over the phone, but we do much prefer that personal visit so that we can start building a relationship from the minute well, certainly when we take the call, but then when we're knocking on the door.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, obviously part of that, we price at the job, so we give the customer a range of prices there and then for them to consider, and then obviously try and find one that best fits their kind of budget. But yeah, that's a really good way of being able to provide an accurate estimate for the work that's going to be carried out. So yeah, a couple more questions that come in, specific ones about do we have branches in Barking and Dagenham? I would have to check if Chica on that one, so maybe that's something you can come back to me directly and we can have a look at the map and see what's available. Katrina, I mentioned that we don't operate in central London, mainly because of the challenges that arise from extra costs like parking charges, congestion charges, things like that. So that doesn't tend to work particularly well for us. But again, if we want to have a look specifically at areas available that are in the periphery of London, then we can certainly arrange a call and do that. I think I did mention about the price that's involved. Yes, you do have to pay initially to become a Molly Maid franchise owner, and the pricing is discussed in the brochure, but again, we can pick that up separately. So Tom, yeah, with regarding about pricing for jobs, yeah, I mean, we have like a price guide that we provide centrally to franchise owners to make sure that they can give a rough, pricing for each home. And yeah, we do kind of break it down into the size of the property. So usually it's kind of, 3-bed, 2-bath, or 2-bath and 2-bed. And I guess that's something that you would use, not necessarily, specifically, but you would use that as a guide to get your pricing right. Not sure if someone's still there. But yeah, so as I say, we do have that price guide that we do provide to franchise owners, and as I say, that would give them some specific guidance on pricing the cleans so that they are both profitable and ensure that they can cover all of your costs.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I got
That's all right. No worries at all. So we were just touching on, someone mentioned about pricing, and I was just referencing that we give you like a price guide, which you will use to kind of give you a guide, but you'll obviously tweak the pricing specifically for your local area.
Yeah, and I must admit, I do remember the first time I went out pricing, and I was so nervous, and I sat in the car, took a deep breath. But you know, after a while, you get you get used to it. You've got the price guide there to help you, and as you get to see how the maids work, you're able to judge how long the clean's going to take and price accordingly. So yeah, but everything's there that you need to help you with it.
Yeah, that's great. Grace referenced about if there's already a franchise in the area. Yeah, absolutely, we do. It works in terms of each area is exclusive. So if there's already a Molly Maid that operates in that area, that is an exclusive area. So you wouldn't be able to work within that. But there are often neighbouring franchises. So even though it might not be directly in your area, if it's something that is kind of next door, then that will work equally as well. I mean, you know, Simone, your area is, you know, significantly large geographically. So, I mean, you know, to get from one side of yours to the other, what would you say? How long would that take?
Oh gosh, over an hour. But I've got 2 offices, remember?
Yeah.
So we hire staff from different areas to cover the different areas that we work in.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes,
So
I mean, some areas are significantly bigger, but yeah, I mean, you could have, whilst there might be someone covering your area, there could be 10 minutes away, there could be an available area. So it's definitely worth having a chat with us just to see, you know, what could be available in your area. Just anyone, I can resend anyone who didn't get the brochure, I can certainly resend them. And I think that there's some here that I can maybe set up a call with afterwards so I can give some specific answers to your questions. Katrina, I'm more than happy to arrange a call after this just to be able to clarify some of the questions that you're answering and be able to give you some specific responses to those. What is the Molly Maid percentage in the business yearly? So I guess the way in which the royalty side of it works is that as a franchise owner, you will pay a percentage of your costs ongoing to Molly Maid, and that's obviously for use of the Molly Maid systems, the brand, and all the support that goes with that, and that's essentially 10% of your weekly net sales. But again, if you want some more specifics on that, one of the things that we would provide you is with a 3-year cash flow forecast, so you can see how those costs are broken down. Someone else actually joined a bit late, so yeah, absolutely, we're recording this, so I'll be able to send you a copy of the recording, Lewis, and you can come back to that and review that in your own time. Someone else has asked about speaking with franchise owners. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we typically do is once someone's come to meet with us, then we will be able to arrange for you to speak to franchise owners. If that's done over the phone or in a visit, then that can certainly be accommodated. What we usually try and recommend is that someone comes here first, they can get a better understanding and more context of the business before they then have those conversations with franchise owners. But yeah, absolutely, we're more than happy to put you in touch with those to better have those conversations and to get better insight into the business. Part of the reason why we are doing this today. I think that seems to be all the questions. Yeah, I think Kanika, my colleague, is just clarifying to Katrina's point regarding the cost to start. I did try and clarify that earlier. So yes, you would have to pay to become a Molly Maid franchise owner. The cost of which I did mention as Kanika's kind of reiterated is 21,975, which then would include VAT. The VAT you would be able to claim back as being VAT registered from day one. And obviously we would support you with funding for that. So we've got a number of partners we work with that can lend up to 70% of that cost. So if you don't have all the money yourself, which obviously not everyone is going to, then yeah, absolutely, we can help to arrange funding for you. We would help you to produce your own bespoke business plan, and then that would be able to use to be able to secure funding against a number of lenders. So whether that's a high street bank or whether that's through a government-backed loan. So I hope that does clarify your question. If it doesn't, then please do let me know, and I'm more than happy to get on a call and share that with you. Someone said, how soon can someone start? I mean, typically what we do is once we've had this, this today, I would set up an initial call with you to help answer some questions, get a bit more of an insight about the reason that you're looking at Maid. We'd then like to arrange kind of a face-to-face meeting, which we usually do here at our support office. Once that's done, then it would be a case of submitting an application and deposit. And then from that point, you'd be looking at probably a 6 to 8 week lead time. That allows you to be able to do everything you need to do to get ready to start the business. But then it also allows us the time to really start marketing the business in advance of you, launching the business. Because obviously what we want is to build up that inquiry level, to build up that brand awareness before you start. So when you do start, you kind of really do hit the ground running and get off to at the fastest possible start. Tom's just mentioned about the profit margin. So I mean, again, it is all detailed in the brochure, and for anyone who didn't get the brochure, I can certainly reshare that. Typically year one is often break even, as with most new business setups. It is, you're investing your money in to kind of get the business up and running. Typically kind of year two, we'd expect kind of 8 to 10% profit. And then from year 3 onwards, when all your costs are in line, anything from kind of 15 to 18% is really achievable. And obviously, as Simon is testament to, the more you grow the sales, the more profit that you can earn. Whilst the margin stays, fairly kind of consistent at that 15 to 18%, then the way that you're going to increase the levels of income for yourself is to grow sales. And as I say, Simon's proven how successful that can be over the years.
And I worked from home for the first 15 years, actually, because I was bringing up my children as well. So, you can do that. We have an office now, but we've had this for about 7 years. But up to that point, I was actually working from home, which obviously keeps costs down as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, so I guess there's 2 things there, obviously keeping costs down, and there are other ways that you can do that. And again, we would help to support you with that. But yeah, also, you raised 4 boys whilst, running the business, Simon. So, it is something you can do around family life as well, which I think is a really important kind of message to get through.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is most of the questions through now. As I mentioned, there is funding options available for people. So you don't need to have all the money yourself. You would need to have a proportion to be able to get you started, because obviously no one's going to be able to give you kind of full funding. But yeah, there are certainly options out there, and we'd be more than happy to help you with that. So I think that's all the questions to say. If I haven't covered anything that you did want to ask, then as I say, please contact me. We can certainly arrange a call. All my details are here, so you can either drop me an email or you can give me a call. Hopefully you all had several emails from me, so you've got this information anyway. But yeah, I'd love to have a chat with you and help answer anything else you have. So thank you so much for your time today, Simon. I really appreciate that, and thank you for everyone else who's joined us. And yeah, we'd look forward to speaking with you soon.